Although I've always had a passion for art and drawing, for the longest time I let self doubt get in the way. It stopped me from actually creating. I kept my creative dreams buried for years, until about a year and a half ago when I finally made the choice to commit to drawing again. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. When you first pick up a pen or a brush after a long time, it feels awkward. That's the moment of, I don't even know where to start. And then you try to draw something and think, oh, this is so bad. What am I doing? That was definitely me. In today's world, it's even harder. We're constantly exposed to artists online who look so successful and polished, and that comparison makes our own self doubt feel even louder. On top of that, our expectations of ourselves grow too, so that leap of faith to just start becomes even scarier. And so we don't. We put the dream away again. But as cliche it sounds, those artists we admire, they were also once beginners. They also had moments where every stroke felt off. The only difference is they committed. They kept going. They believed that with time and practice, they would get better, and that belief, that's where everything starts. It took me a long time to understand that, and honestly, I can't help but think about all the years I spent burying my creative dreams. Years I could have spent simply creating, experimenting, and finding myself through art. So I'm making this video for anyone who's ever felt the same way. If you've been held back by self doubt, I want you to know you're not alone. And I want to share what's helped me so maybe you don't have to make the same mistake. This is about how to move through that fear and start creating again with more courage and a little more kindness towards yourself. Let me share 4 ways to start creating without self doubt and fear. So, the first one is expect it to be bad and just draw for 10 minutes. Staring at a blank page can feel so intimidating. That first stroke feels like it has so much weight, like it's going to decide the entire piece. And if you mess up, it can feel like the whole thing's ruined. But here's the thing, what if you just expected it to be bad? Like, really bad? Then it doesn't matter how it turns out. You've already taken the pressure off. Instead of trying to create a masterpiece, you're giving yourself permission to just show up and practice. If it turns out kind of nice, great. You've just proved to yourself that you can do it. And if it turns out bad, that's also great. You showed up, you practiced, and you gave yourself a chance to experiment and grow. Every bad drawing is just a stepping stone to finding your style. I really recommend having a sketchbook that you intentionally treat as your bad drawing book. Let it be messy, let it be imperfect. That's where growth happens. Just try drawing for 10 minutes. Start with one stroke, just one, and you'll be surprised how naturally the next one follows. And remember, no one has to see it. It's your own private art journal, your little creative space where you get to play, explore, and be completely free. The second one is draw something you like, but make sure it's easy. There were so many times I felt totally discouraged because I'd find a beautiful reference photo and get excited to draw it, and then realize it was way too detailed and hard. When you're just starting out or trying to get back into drawing, pick something simple, something you like, but that won't take up too much time or effort. The goal is to build momentum, not burn out. We make art because we enjoy it, right? But if the subject is too complicated, the process quickly becomes frustrating instead of fun. When it's easy, you're more likely to finish it. And the more finished pieces you have, the more proud and motivated you feel. Sometimes I open up my Procreate gallery and just smile at all the little artworks I've finished. It gives me a real sense of progress and makes me feel proud of myself. And that feeling is what keeps me going. The third one is give yourself permission to erase, correct, or start over. Sometimes we get this idea that real artists don't erase or that constantly undoing or correcting means we're not good enough. But honestly, I think there's no rule to that. Everyone has a different process, and if making adjustments help you feel more comfortable, then do it. You be you. I'm definitely someone who erases a lot. The undo button is basically my best friend. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I love digital art so much. Erasing, tweaking, starting fresh, it's also easy and forgiving. And let's talk about starting over. Sometimes that perfectionist in us just won't let us begin again. But if something doesn't feel right, it's totally okay to scrap it and start new. I have so many pieces in my Procreate gallery that I started but never finished. Not because I gave up, but because I realized I wasn't enjoying the process. And that's okay. I like to call it experimentation, not failure. I gave it a go, and I learned that it just wasn't the right piece for me at that moment. Maybe I'll come back to it later with fresh eyes and better skills, or maybe I won't. What matters is being kind to yourself and listening to your gut. And honestly, who cares if you erase 1,000 times or never finish a piece? Does it really matter? That's just part of the journey. The fourth point is every artwork is a new artwork. Even the best cooks feel unsure when they try a new recipe for the first time. They might be confident in their skills, but they still don't know how that new dish will turn out. At least not like the meals they've made 100 times before. It's the same with us as artists. Every piece we start is completely new. So it makes sense if you feel unsure or filled with self-doubt at the beginning. You haven't made this particular artwork before. What matters more than confidence is giving yourself permission to enjoy the challenge, embrace the process, the learning, the little discoveries along the way. Instead of focusing on whether it'll turn out good, focus on what you're gaining, your perseverance, your growth, and your commitment to showing up. That in itself is something to be really proud of. If you've made it this far into the video, I honestly believe you're already a true artist. Passionate, dedicated, and full of potential. The fact that you're here, wanting to overcome fear and self-doubt, shows just how deeply you care about your art. And that matters so much more than being perfect. I have big hopes for you, and I just want to remind you, you're definitely not alone in this. We're in this creative growth journey together. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.